Excited.
So every now and then you get a chance to chop it up with Barbie. How
Yeah, right?
how you doing, Rylan?
I'm doing good, Chris. How are you?
Good. We had
I'm
to
talking to you. I couldn't be better. I'm not gonna lie.
we had to do a couple of shots to get this thing done, but today we're wide open. We're good.
I think I still owe you pizza, though. I'm not gonna lie.
I'll be honest with you, those two pictures of that pizza look good.
I have to make Chris champion pizza at
How
least
far
once.
are you away from Miami?
I am not that far, actually. Like a
So
good.
I'm going to be in Miami in 2 weeks doing 6 hours worth of podcasting, and I'm bringing food and drink, and I got 100 people I'm inviting, and there should be a good networking opportunity. If you want
Okay.
to come, there's a podcast studio in Miami I'm booking out for this, and it should be a lot of fun.
I would love to go. The Wellness Barbie. I think she should make an appearance.
The what?
I said the Wellness Barbie should make an
I,
appearance.
I think so too. Is that your nickname?
I don't know. I've been told that I give like health and wellness Barbie energy. I'm like, okay, I'll take it, if the shoe fits, right?
I mean, it doesn't hurt, does it?
No.
Talk a little bit about what made you become an entrepreneur at such a young age. Tell everyone how old you are too.
So, hi guys, I'm Rylin Rossano. I am 18 years old and I've lived almost 118 lives in 18 years. So, essentially, I graduated high school at 15, which wasn't because of choice, it was because my health brought me in that direction. Growing up, I experienced chronic asthma due to mold and mildew, which in Florida, unfortunately, is abundantly present everywhere you go. So for me to literally go to school, I would have to take huge amount of medication from steroids to breathing treatments, and it got really bad to the point where I would have to miss school to be in the hospital because I would get pneumonia more times than I even have fingers on my hands. So it was pretty bad and very upsetting and frustrating, and teachers didn't get it. Kids made fun of me. It was really hard. But when COVID happened, I probably was one of the only people fortunate from that situation that I was home in my own environment. I didn't need any medication, and I fell in love with nutrition and exercise. And I was like, wait, I have so much time on my hands. What am I going to do with my life? And I really started thinking. I mean, Chris, I'm not going to lie, I've never been your average kid. I mean, people think, oh, you're 18, you're a kid.
God
I
didn't make you to be average. God wanted you to be great. In fact, when you were
exactly. And
born, God
right.
whispered in your ear and said, "Greatness is your destiny."
No, I agree. And I remember being in school and these kids were talking about parties. They were talking about, the gossip. And I was thinking about my life and my future and what I wanted to do when I got home that would be productive and would benefit future me. So I always knew I wasn't meant to sit in those rooms and to relate to people my own age. So when the pandemic happened, I was like, you know what? I got really healthy. I built up
Wait a
my,
second. Are you referring to the scamdemic,
yes, 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 I
the
am.
money laundering operation?
Yes.
The way the drug companies used a mild virus to make trillions of dollars from the taxpayers?
Yes, that lovely time we all got to stay at home for really no reason.
No
Um,
reason. I mean,
but
COVID was no different than the flu. In fact, it was one-fifth as deadly as the flu.
oh yeah,
Oh,
definitely.
shit. YouTube's going to now censor me. They're going to be like, oh my God, you can't talk about it.
That's okay. I'll tell them to forgive you and they will because I'm on the show.
Uh,
So during that time period, I got really into yoga, really into exercising, and I was like, you know what? I can do something with this. So during that time period, I actually ended up accelerating in school. I realized I didn't want to be put in a box, and that wasn't meant for me. I started taking online classes and accelerating so much that I ended up graduating high school at 15. Well, after that, unfortunately, my life, didn't really take the best turn. I ended up getting diagnosed with another chronic illness called POTS, which is
called what? What was it?
it's called POTS. So it's postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome, which is a
Okay.
form of dysautonomia, which simply means my nervous system is dysregulated and malfunctions. My blood pressure's super low. It's
Tracy
it's
just can't
it's
stop wanting to come up.
She likes me. It's a pain in the butt, but through that, I was like, you know what? I can do something with this. I experienced a lot of pain throughout my life and through the journey of being diagnosed, because the thing about having dysautonomia is it's an invisible illness. So I would go to these doctors and they would look at me and be like, there's nothing wrong with you. It's just your anxiety. And I knew as someone who, had
We all have a little anxiety, don't we?
we all have a little anxiety. We all have a little bit of something. But as someone who knows her body well, who was studying nutrition and was literally exercising, drinking water, eating extremely well, I was like, there is something going on. And no one believed me. And I can't even explain to you how hard that was for me to deal with. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do something with this pain. I'm going to turn it into my purpose. I'm going to start a podcast. And I remember I left a doctor's office in tears in my car that day. I was like, you know what? I had a sweatshirt on. It said, take care of your body. I was like, you know what? Here we go. Take Care of Your Body by Rye is being started right now in this car. And I was sitting in the parking lot. I got on Spotify for creators. I created the damn podcast. And yes, did my voice shake when I started the first episode? Did I know what I was doing? Absolutely not. But do the best people not know what they're doing? Absolutely. And I was like, you know what? Someone needs to hear this. I need to make someone feel seen. And that's really what got me started. So a lot of pain, a lot of struggle, but I'm not someone who lets that stop her. Here I am talking to you. So I'm grateful for it.
So, talk a little bit about how you overcame fear. Because a lot of people, they don't do a podcast, they don't start a business, they don't chase their dreams. And the one thing that holds people back is fear. How do you overcome fear?
I think, as individuals, we all like to make excuses. And the thing is, we're like, you'll hear someone and they're like, oh, my New Year's resolution is to lose weight. And then nothing really happens from January 1st to the next January 1st. They don't lose weight. And then the next year, that same resolution happens. And you're in this cycle of, I'm going to do this, but I don't do it. And the thing is, like, something I believe in is life is too short not to follow your dreams. Yeah, you're going to be scared. Yeah, people are going to say nasty shit about you. Everyone's going to have an opinion, but if you live your life for other people, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be successful. You're not going to really live the life you want. So my thing is, do it scared, do it upset, do it sad. You just got to do it. I think that's the thing. Like, we're all scared to start, but really the only person we have to impress is ourselves. And everything I
You got to
do,
give zero fucks about everyone
you
else.
just have to give zero fucks. Everything I do is for younger me because I want to make her proud. I want to look back and be like, damn, I went through that and it fucking sucked. It was horrible, but it led me here. And at least I turned something beautiful out of the mess. So I think you just have to do it. And it's scary and it's terrifying. And you're going to have probably multiple mental breakdowns and need, an alcoholic beverage or a coffee at some point or another. But I think you just have to do it because the only person you have to impress is yourself at the end of the day.
Exactly. So, you
So
got a book coming out.
I do. Are
Talk
you
a little
proud of
bit.
me? I mean, come on, what don't I do?
Listen, let me tell you something. Writing a book is not easy.
No,
And
it's not.
a lot of people talk about doing a book, but when you got one coming out, that's an accomplishment in life. Talk a little bit about your book.
Well, the title kind of says it all. It's called Once Upon a Time I Survived Myself, and I thought that'd be a very fitting title.
I
I'm not
like
gonna
that.
lie to you. Thank you. So here's a little backstory, because we were talking and you said people love when I yap and talk about stories. So
I didn't
when I
say people love when you yap. I just told you that people like to hear stories. So feel free to tell the stories.
oh, here we go.
We'll find out how many people love whether you yap or not.
Well, I mean, I feel like this one though. I feel like they'll like this one, Chris. I'm very hopeful. So when I was 11 years old, I've always been a creative person. I think when you are someone that thinks differently than others and you have more of a creative mind, you have to do something with that. And no, am I an artist? Absolutely not. My thing was always writing, and I love writing. I can't do math for shit. So I think it that's where all of that juice goes in the writing department, which I'm grateful for. I mean, come on, I'd rather write a book than know how to do math on the spot. Anyways, so when I was 11 years old, I told my mom, I was like, Mom, I want to write a book. And she got me a little guide on how to write a book on Amazon for my birthday. And the thing was called Writing the Damn Book. So I remember I filled it out. I was going
I
to write,
love that.
wait,
Write the
we love
damn
that.
book. Just write the
Period.
damn book.
Absolutely not. You just write the damn thing. Don't overthink it. Just write the book. So this little how-to guide, I remember I wrote my name in it, the date, and I even wrote in big, bold font, in my messy 11-year-old handwriting, I'm going to write a fairy tale. Did Rylin write the fairy tale? Absolutely not. I don't know what happened. I just, the thought came, it passed, whatever. I probably talked myself out of it, as 11-year-olds tend to do, but the thought was there. So coming across that literal copy of that, writing the damn book how-to guide today, I'm like, damn, I really did write the fairy tale, except the fairy tale's my life and it's not a fairy tale. It's one I almost wrote myself out of and created the ending myself, which I'm just like, shit, like I kind of manifested this for myself. So just finding that the other day, I was like, if I needed any inspiration, it's right here. I wanted to write a fairy tale, and I guess at this point or another, I didn't believe in myself. And here I am 7 years later, I did it. And I think that really goes to show you that you can do things that are hard and that are scary and that you might have always wanted to do as a kid later on in life. That dream is in your heart for a reason, I believe it.
You
So,
talk about manifesting things. If you
yeah.
tell yourself you're going to do something, eventually you just end up doing it.
Absolutely, it's so true. I really believe in like visualizing and, planning out your dream life. Because I think the thing is, like, you know, as humans, like I said earlier, like we all say, oh, I want to be rich, I want to lose weight, I want to, whatever it might be. But I feel like we expect people to hand us these things. And that's not really how it is. If you want something, you have to do it yourself for the most part. You have to put in the work, you have to create it yourself. And then other people will join along and be like, wow, this is cool. Can I be a part of it? But you have to do it yourself because if you rely on someone else, that thing is not going to get done.
Yep, I agree.
So this book is a huge part of my heart. It is, like I said, the title says it all because I didn't go through what I went through, just to go through it. I wrote through it. So it's part memoir, it's part healing. It's kind of like a journal, but really a part survival anthem. So it was definitely born in the mess, heartbreak, chronic illness, the grief, and all the spirals, but I didn't really think I would be here to write this book, and I'm really grateful that here I am sitting,
Here you are.
to you telling you I wrote it and I put a piece of my heart on paperback, and I really think people will read it and it will resonate with them because it's about my life and how I've navigated some really hard shit and how I'm still here. And I think that's what we need because, I've always believed that we all should have someone that we look up to and that inspire us. And I think it's hard when you're in the world we're in to find that person because you hear so much bullshit online and in the media, and you're like, is this true? Is this accurate? But I think when the person writing or speaking to you has been through it themselves, it's more credible. And it's like, wow, they did it. I can too. So I want this book to be put in the hands of people who need help healing and don't know where to start. And, it's written by a girl who gets it.
Talk a little bit about your business. What's your business about?
So, my business, Take Care of Your Body by Rye, essentially is pretty much taking care of your body and focusing on making sure you're doing things that make you feel good physically and mentally. I really believe in the brain gut connection and how it all works. I think it's hard for us as individuals, like, like I said, we all make excuses. We all don't know what we're doing or don't really have these people to say, oh, you need to eat this way or you need to, do it this way. And I wanted to create a space where people can realize health is individualized. What works best for someone else might not work best for them, but I wanted to create a space where they can feel seen, understood, supported, and also get educated to finding the right resources for their health and wellness journey. So I'm truly just a person that wants to help others heal, help others feel their best, and learn what taking care of their body means for them.
Talk a little bit about how you've built your brand. What are some of the things that you've done to build your brand and make people aware of you?
Well, Chris, I love to talk if you haven't figured that out. So, I have learned over the years that my mouth is one of the best things about me. Um, so
I'm gonna
maybe
turn that into a clip.
you should, you really should. So what I've learned is, it's hard, I think, as someone like myself who in the past was more reserved and introverted, and if you
You
would
were
have told
never reserved.
I was
There's no way in God's green earth you're ever going to convince me you were reserved at any point in your life, including birth.
Okay. Well, I'll have to find some clips for you.
Huh.
But maybe I think I also believe in this. Like, what happens is if you're not comfortable as a human in the room you're in, maybe you're not going to feel comfortable in being yourself. So I would say younger me had a hard time feeling like I could be myself and could feel free and free to talk and free to express my ideas because I think I was scared, going back to the scared thing. I really gave a shit about what people thought about me. And I think you have to throw that idea in the trash if you want to work in this industry because, yes, I'm empathetic and I really take things to heart because what I do is a piece of my heart. But I know people aren't going to resonate with it. And some people are going to say, she's doing it for attention, or I don't get this or that. And you know what? Let them. The let them theory is trending right now. I believe in it. So, growing up, I really didn't feel comfortable in school, in public, to really express my ideas because I think deep down there was some rooted fear that they weren't good or they weren't enough or they didn't matter. And I think, you know, what I've learned now is unfortunately, you just have to talk about yourself. And it's hard and it's scary because you're like, what if someone thinks I'm cocky or, I think I'm better than them? And and I think there's a difference. You have to be confident, not cocky. There's a difference in that and in both of those things. And, if you want someone to know you, you have to be willing to talk about yourself and network and, understand someone else's journey and then be like, hi, I'm Rylin Rossano. Let's get to know each other and help each other in this industry. I believe in that. I think, we all can get to where we want with a little, I think the Beatles say it best. We all get by with a little help from our friends. So
That is
if I've learned
true.
anything, Chris, it's you have to open your mouth, you have to introduce yourself, you have to walk up to strangers and shake their hand and say, hi, I'm Rylin. Here's what I do. Here's why you should know me. Because no one is going to do that for you. You can pay people all day long to pretend they know you, but no one knows you as well as you do.
I couldn't agree with you more. All
Yeah.
right. So I like to leave every interview with something inspirational. What would you tell people that would inspire them to overcome their fears?
I think you just have to truly sit down and remember your why. I'm big on this. Whatever it might be, if it's a business idea, if it's a relationship, if it's just some normal life decision, remember why you're doing it. And I'm not gonna lie, recently, since this book's coming out, I've been kind of struggling with imposter syndrome because I'm pouring so much of myself. I'm like, is this actually who I am? And then I'm like, yes, it is. It's a part of the process. And then I had to sit down and I had to remember why I'm doing this, which is to impact people with this story. And I'm not gonna lie to you, Chris, reading your own book is one of the weirdest feelings in the world. Like I was talking to my mom about this. I love my mom so much. Moms are the best. I was like, Mom, I'm literally reading my own story from like someone else's viewpoint because it's already on paper, like it's done, it happened, but I'm the person who lived this and I feel bad for this girl. Um, I'm like, damn, shit, she's been through it. But I think, reflecting on who you were and who you want to be and why you are putting yourself out there can inspire you. And then also finding people in the same industry, in the same boat, doing the same things. I really believe community can help us get to where we want. And I wouldn't be here without the people that have supported me and loved me through, this journey and this business and this brand that I've built for myself. So I really believe in just doing research, remembering why you got started. And, if you get stuck or you doubt yourself, look back on who you were and think about that version of yourself and how proud that version of yourself would be and use that as your fuel. Just find something every day that inspires you. If it's a quote, if it's a person, if it's who you were, and let that keep fueling you. You just have to find something to hold on to, even on the hardest days. So,
I think that's great advice.
thanks.
Well,
I
listen,
try.
we got to chop it up again in the future. I think it's been great getting to know you and say goodbye to everyone, Ryland.
Bye, guys. Thank you so much for listening. And remember, take care of your body. There's only one of you. No one's going to do it for you. My book, Once Upon a Time, I Survived Myself, will be yours on Amazon July 1st, and it will also be on Barnes& and Noble July 2nd. You can also listen to my health and wellness podcast, Take Care of Your Body by Rye, on all platforms. Go take care of yourself and maybe let me be a part of the journey.